It's a pleasant evening in Sun City, Arizona, in our Backyard Ministry Recovery Center. I pray all is well with you as we again consider that Jesus is Lord and how we can practice the discipline of Christian silence. The discipline of Christian silence. I learned recently of this phytoncides. Third time, phytoncides. The guy I was studying said it so fast I didn't know what he was meaning. Phytoncides. Phytoncides are byproducts of certain plants. And new research shows that these byproducts of certain trees and plants are super beneficial to the human being. For example, phytoncides boost immune function through increasing activity and number of natural killer cells, which help fight infections and cancerous cells. That's amazing. So when we think, Lord, I want to be silent with you, we realize that we might go with Jesus to the mountainside, so to speak, or his 40-day fast was in the desert. And around these plants that produce phytoncides, it actually increases your immune system. It helps you fight infections and even cancer cells. These phytoncides reduce stress and cortisol levels, lowering heart rate and blood pressure, thereby promoting relaxation and a sense of well-being. Maybe this is why so many people like to go camping. They get out and their body experiences these phytoncides, and it greatly improves their health and well-being. There are calming effects on the nervous system, stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for rest and recovery. Wow. There's an improved mood, creativity, concentration, and sleep quality if you experience phytoncides that are products of some plants and some trees. There's an anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effect due to the components that are found in forest air. The phenomenon, sometimes called forest bathing, highlights how spending time in phytoncide-rich forest environments revitalizes the body and mind. As we consider the Christian discipline of silence again today, I'd like for us to consider the location we are in when we are silent. For example, I could be silent in the house there, which I am often, especially now with Paula in Kyrgyzstan and me here alone. But the science says that, in fact, it's good to be silent. It's good to be in the presence of plants, especially in a forest. For example, in John 6:15, Jesus, it says, perceiving then that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, Jesus withdrew again to the mountain by himself. I wonder how many phytoncides were in the mountain. If we think about the 40-day fast of Jesus in the desert, undoubtedly there was a positive benefit to the physical being of Jesus by being out in the natural air, the natural light, and around plants. I don't have time to go into the effects of light and the effects of air. I was studying that again today. Fantastic what happens when you get outside. Well, we're talking about a psalm for today, so we probably should have our psalm. Psalm 8:3. When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you have set in place, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of man that you care for him? Yet you have made him a little lower than the heavenly beings and crowned him with glory and honor. You have given him dominion over the works of your hands. You have put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen and the beasts of the fields, the birds of the heavens and the fish of the sea, whatever passes along the paths of the seas. You get the idea from Psalm 8. The psalmist is around birds and fish and oxen and beasts of the field. Brothers and sisters, we have ample evidence in the scripture that people were close to God's creation. In fact, for example, separation happened in the Garden of Eden. It was a garden, and yet separation came. Jesus was in another garden, the Garden of Gethsemane, and there again was a separation. He prepared for his passing. But the point is, so much of the Bible is in nature. One guy I remember, I believe it was Dr. Ray, he said, the Bible opens with God's hand in the mud and it ends with God in another garden. It is clear to us the value of good water, sunlight, good air, and being around plants. This is so incredible. The science that's coming in is remarkable. Christian history is rich with memorable stories of men and women who secluded themselves from all others to seek the will of Him who matters most. This is from Spiritual Disciplines of the Christian Life by Donald Whitney. As we consider the Christian discipline of silence, may I encourage you at any level of mobility to consider practicing the Christian discipline of silence outside. And if you possibly can, practice that discipline in the morning as the sun comes up and in the evening as the sun goes down, because the light rays that are passing through the Earth's atmosphere at that time is phenomenal when it reaches the retina and when it permeates the skin. Certain light waves can go up to a 1/4 inch into the skin and produce fabulously positive results in our bodies. As we consider the Christian discipline of silence, we want to consider that location. And then as we consider the location, to get there, we might have to move or walk or run or ride a bike or wheel a wheelchair or walk with a walker. I don't know the way you get from point A to B, but getting from point A to B itself with movement is good for us. Getting from point A to B into the light, natural light, sunlight, is good for us. Getting from point A to B with fresh water is good for us. It's just good all the way around. And one of the guys I studied, it came from, he's a scientist that has a most interesting conclusion on the human cell as he compares it, believe it or not, one of the leading scientists in the world on this compares the human cell to the tabernacle. It's fabulous. Oh my goodness, it is fabulous. But nonetheless, the leading scientists are telling us we need to move, we need to be in the natural light, we need to have fresh air, and that many health measures are increased. If nothing else, your immune system is improved. It's greatly enhanced. So while we consider the role of the Christian discipline of silence, if you're capable, why don't you do the next psalm for today outside? What if you're able, do the next psalm for today while taking a walk? Do the next psalm for the day while having a glass of pure, fresh water, and also get in hot water, because that's good for your body, and then shift over into cold water. That's good for your body as well. Too much to say on one psalm for today, but brothers and sisters, I encourage you. The psalmist was around the birds and the sea and the land and the forest and all kinds of locations. Jesus went into the mountainside. Jesus was in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. Consider getting out of your house into God's wonderful creation as you practice the